Good morning. I'm glad to have you join us on News Bites live broadcast of news headlines this morning. Today is Monday, the 9th of October 2017. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. Please give me a minute. Let me share this broadcast on my timeline, and then we can start our live broadcast of news. Yes. Okay, we're yet to find a solution to this Facebook Live's new policy that only allows us to broadcast in portraits instead of landscape. But we'll put through until we can find the means to. Okay, all right. So permit me to share this on my timeline while you also do the same. I implore you to do the same. Help us share this to your timeline so that at least your friends can avail themselves of this free news service. Once I share that on my timeline now, then we can go ahead and do our broadcast for today. News. My name is Oluwa Mayomikun for those who are just joining us for the very first time. My name is Oluwa Mayomikun. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. All right, share. You see the share button. You can click it and share it to your timeline. It's also a way of helping us build this community. All right. Okay, I'm sharing now. Oh, all right, sharing. Wow. Okay. All right, I've just shared to my timeline so we can go ahead with the news. Federal government will soon centralize the payroll for ministries, departments, and agencies, just as it is capturing data for personnel of paramilitary outfits on the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System, the one we call IPS. The process, which was flagged off last Thursday by the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, at the headquarters of the Nigeria Civil Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Nigerian Immigration Service, and the Nigeria Prisons Service in Abuja, is being driven by the Office of the Account. All right, the internet messed up there just now. Okay, so we can take that story again. Okay. Federal government will soon centralize the payroll for ministries, departments, and agencies, just as it is capturing data for personnel of paramilitary outfits on the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System (IPS). The process, which was flagged off last Thursday by the Ministry of Finance, the headquarters of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Nigerian Immigration Service, and the Nigeria Prison Service in Abuja, is being driven by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation through the IPS Secretariat. There are 461 MDAs on IPS platform, as the department is responsible for processing and paying salaries to over 300,000 federal employees across the 459 MDAs. Adeosun, who was represented by the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, who monitored the exercise, says 461 MDAs are on the platform already. Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate (PTAD) has recovered 16 billion naira legacy pension funds from different insurance companies. Speaking at the weekend during a stakeholders forum to mark her 1 year in office, Executive Secretary of PTAD Sharon Ikeazo said the bulk of the recoveries came from Nikon Insurance. Ikeazo said 13 billion naira was recovered from Nikon Insurance in assets which are being evaluated by the Federal Ministry of Power Works and Housing to determine the actual worth of the assets. She said if the assets were not up to the value, PTAD would return to Nikon Insurance for the full value. The PTAD boss said the Directorate planned to recover additional assets and funds currently being held by insurance underwriters and the application of same to reduce pensioners' complaints. She also addressed the issue of 33% pension increase arrears that have been a major challenge for pensioners. She disclosed that all sectors except the police have been paid at least 12 months arrears. The paramilitary have also been paid 100% of their arrears, with plans to clear the liability. She advocates for the prioritization of pension payment as first-line charge even before salaries are paid. Pan-Northern Socio-Political Organization Arewa Consultative Forum has asked President Muhammadu Buhari to expedite action on the report of the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo's three-man presidential committee that probed the suspended Director General of National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ayoke, and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, David Lawal Babacha. Other members of the committee include National Security Advisor to the President, retired Major General Babagana Munguno, and the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. The committee was set up on April 19 and was given the mandate of turning in its report within 14 days. The committee was to probe OK for its connection with the $43.4 million, £27,800, and 23.2 million naira uncovered at the 7th floor of a 4-bedroom apartment at Osborne Towers, located at 16 Osborne Road, Ikoyi, Lagos, by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, on April 12th this year. It was also mandated, the committee was also mandated to probe Babacha over how his office spent over 12 billion naira allocated for the rehabilitation of the internally displaced persons in the Northeast, particularly the award of a 270 million naira grass cutting contract by the Presidential Initiative on the Northeast. Osinbajo had since submitted the panel's report to the President, but the President is yet to act on it. However, National Publicity Secretary of the Arewa Consultative Forum, Mohammed Biu, on behalf of the group, is calling for prompt action on the matter, stressing that the report ought to receive the necessary attention from the Presidency. Police Service Commission says it has no power to discipline the Inspector General of Police. A statement by Ikechukwu Ani, Media, Press and Public Relations Officer of the Police Service Commission, says the Commission will not compromise its constitutional mandate to appoint, promote and discipline officers of the Nigeria Police Force. And it states that the Constitution, which gave the Commission the powers to appoint, promote and discipline, however, did not extend the powers to discipline an Inspector General of Police. He said that on postings of Command Commissioners of Police, the Commission naturally allows the IG, who works with these officers and who knows their operational capabilities, to recommend. And he says the Commission gives the IG guidelines that should be followed on special promotions. He advised that in the current move to sanitize the Nigerian Police Force, efforts should not be wasted on unnecessary witch hunts. Nigerian Army says its troops has killed 2 Boko Haram insurgents at Manyati village of Bama Local Government Council of Borno State. Lieutenant Colonel Kingsley Samuel, the Deputy Director Army, Public Rations 7th Division, said in Maiduguri that the troops had ambushed a group of insurgents who were trying to cross the Sambisa forest. The troops neutralized 2 insurgents, while many others escaped with gunshot wounds. Some food items were also recovered from the insurgents. Infrastructure Concession Regulation Commission has approved the National Open Universities proposal that's now to build and operate a 150 million naira multifunctional center using the public-private partnership model. The Acting Director General of ICRC, Chidi Uzua, made this known on Sunday in Abuja as he officially handed over an outline business certificate which gave NAUN the go-ahead to look for private investors. Vice Chancellor of NAUN, Professor Abdallah Adamu, revealed that the proposed multifunctional center will be situated at the university's headquarters. He said it will have food courts, ICT centers, supermarkets, banking services, among other facilities. Federal Polytechnic Ado Ekiti was on Sunday shut indefinitely following violent protests by students over the death of 2 of their colleagues. Trouble began on the institution's campus late Friday when 2 of the students reportedly complained of malaria. They were said to have been rushed to the Polytechnic Health Center for treatment, but their condition later became worse. They died in the early hours of Saturday. Sources say the students, on learning that their colleagues had died, quickly mobilized themselves, marched to the health center, and burnt it down. Apart from also destroying some other property, the students blocked all roads leading to the institution, preventing free movement of vehicles. Registrar of the institution, Shade Adejiro, announced the immediate and indefinite closure of the school. The statement warned that any student found on campus after the closure would be apprehended and made to face the consequences. Adediro did not, however, confirm whether any student actually died at the Polytechnic Health Center. A student condemned Polytechnic authorities over their welfare and well-being, while alleging that the table at the health center is paracetamol. According to him, paracetamol was given to the two students who were taken to the center instead of effective malaria drugs or injection. Cross River State Government on Sunday denied reports that a case of monkeypox has been found in the state. Commissioner for Health Dr. Inyang Asibong described as false some online reports alleging that a case of monkeypox has been detected in Okuni village. She said the state has strengthened its surveillance team in border communities and all the local governments of the state as monkeypox outbreak hit some states in the south-south. Asibong said that the state has also taken proactive measures by dispatching its epidemiological team to strategic areas in the state. Monkeypox is a rare viral disease transmitted to humans from animals. The first case was noticed in the Democratic Republic of Congo in 1970. Infection of the disease results from direct contact with the blood, bodily fluids, and muscular injury of infected animals. Meanwhile, Nigerian government has described as fake and sinister the report that the outbreak of monkeypox in some parts of the country resulted from the free medical care by government in the affected states. A statement has been circulated. A message has been circulating on social media claiming the outbreak of monkeypox in Bayelsa State was the result of a failed clandestine population control using biological agents and urging readers not to take part in any free medical program declared by government. In a statement issued in Abuja on Sunday, however, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said Nigerians should disregard the reports which apparently is being spread by some unscrupulous persons to fit into a sinister agenda. Mohammed assured that no effort will be spared in curtailing the spread of the disease. National Youth Service Corps says no fewer than 8,000 corps members presently serving in Anambra State will be available for the conduct of the forthcoming governorship election. Ebenezer Olawale, the NYSC coordinator in the state, said this in Oka yesterday. Olawale said the data of corps members in the state have been transmitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for planning ahead of the November 18 election, as more corps members will be mobilized from neighboring states in case of a shortfall. Olawale also said that the NYSC is working with security agencies to ensure the security of all corps members. NYSC is to soon embark on a tour of the states to sensitize corps members on their expected role in the election, as well as allay their fears over their safety. Meanwhile, the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has insisted that the forthcoming governorship polls in Anambra will not hold, and has ordered its members and other freedom fighters in the area to stay at home on voting day, November 18. The group's publicity secretary, Ima Powerful, said the voting is a test case for IPOB and its allies in Biafra territory, and that boycotting will send a statement to the international community about the seriousness of the agitation for Biafra. IPOB maintained it must teach corrupt Igbo politicians that money cannot buy the group, as they are a special breed untainted by the corrupt tendencies of Nigerian politics. Nigerian Army on Sunday raided the Abia home of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. According to Kanu's younger brother, Emmanuel Kanu, the soldiers said they were searching for technical items. He claimed that the soldiers, however, took away from the house items such as television sets, generator, and clothes. He called on the international community to urge the army to stop raiding his father's palace and to also account for the whereabouts of the IPOB leader. The raid was also confirmed by the desk officer of Operation Python Dance in Abia State. The desk officer, who declined giving his name, said the raid was informed by fresh intelligence reports suggesting that arms were hidden in the compound. He said the raid was a joint operation between the army and other security agencies. But contrary to the claim by Kanu's brother, the military officer insisted that only technical items and not household appliances were taken. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to categorize marauding armed Fulani herdsmen as terrorists. The group expressed confidence that such categorization will reduce, if not bring to an end, the incessant terror attacks on farming communities by armed Fulani herdsmen. The pro-democracy group, in a statement it issued in Abuja on Sunday, is urging the president to be concerned about things that could advance human progress and create mutual harmony amongst the divergent ethno-religious affiliations in Nigeria. The human rights group accused the administration of conspiratorial silence, describing it is a very troubling security challenge, threatening national cohesion and endangering national security. Tension is heightening in Jigawa State over alleged plan by the House of Assembly to impeach Governor Muhammadu Abubakar. Sources say the impeachment is one of many options to confront the governor for alleged illegal sale of a landed property belonging to the state that is domiciled in Lagos. It was only last week that the House of Assembly commenced investigation with a view to probing the governor over what they describe as illegal approval given to 27 local government councils of the state to purchase primary schools furniture. Sources said that the purchases are not captured in the 2017 fiscal year budget. Speaking to journalists yesterday in Dutse, the member representing Dutse constituency, Musa Sule, who is also the chairman House Committee on Appropriation, said the governor illegally sold a plot of land belonging to the state that was located in Lagos, and in its place bought a house which was furnished with a view to serve as government lodge. He said the deal was illegal because the process of disposing and acquiring related laws as enshrined in the Constitution. Sule alleged that the transaction took place when the deputy governor, who is a lawyer, was in acting capacity. Lagos State Controller of Prisons, Tunde Ladipo, on Sunday has called on well-meaning individuals and groups to assist inmates imposed on them to decongest. Okay, the internet is messing. Okay. All right, let's continue. Lagos State Controller of Prisons, Tunde Ladipo, on Sunday has called on well-meaning individuals and groups to assist inmates in paying fines imposed on them to decongest prisons. He said that a number of inmates are still in prison for inability to pay fines. Ladipo urged that prison congestion should be in the interest of the society. The controller appealed to stakeholders to come together and fashion out more ways to reduce congestion in the country's prisons. He said that the command is holding meetings with the Lagos State Judiciary and some other stakeholders to ensure speedy trial of inmates. Ladipo disclosed that the federal government is concerned about prison congestion and making efforts to address it, giving instance of the recently launched plea bargain option, which will also help to decongest prisons. Wife of the president, Hajia Aisha Buhari, on Sunday in Ilorin launched a 2-week skill acquisition empowerment program for 1,000 women and youth in Kwara State. Mrs. Buhari says the program is part of her pet project, Future Assured Program, which is a social intervention aimed at ameliorating poverty among youths and women. According to her, the official launch will therefore commence with the first batch of 1,000 unemployed youths and women selected from across the state. She admonished the beneficiaries to be active participants in the exercise, adding that at the end of the program, an examination will be conducted. Those who score the approved mark of attendance and pass mark are to be empowered with working tools and kits for various trades. The skill acquisition program includes tailoring, catering, soap making, computer training, and electrical works. Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) says Nigerian Gas Processing and Transportation Company Limited, one of its subsidiary companies, has declared a profit after tax of 15.81 billion naira in 2016. NNPC disclosed this in Abuja on Sunday in a statement by the corporation's Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, Ndu Ugamadu. Ugamadu explained that the profit was due to the write-back of deferred tax of 8.05 billion naira in 2015 and part of the dividends of the ongoing transformation. CEO and Chairman of NGPTC, Saidu Mohammed, disclosed that the profit before tax for the year ended December 31, 2016 was 24.4 billion naira as against 20.9 billion naira in 2015. This represents an increment of 16.8%, while the profit after tax reduced from 22.6 billion naira in 2015 to 15.81 billion naira in 2016. Ugamadu said that the increase is due to revenue generated from application of higher transportation tariff and new commercial customers that came on stream. NGPTC, formerly Nigeria Gas Company Limited, a fully owned subsidiary of the NNPC, was incorporated in 1981 and commenced business in 1988. NGC was renamed NGPTC in 2016 with a mandate to process and transport natural gas domestically and for export. Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has estimated that Nigeria will lose about 150 billion naira daily if the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers and the Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, both Pengassan and Nupeng had recently vowed to go on a strike if the federal government delayed the payment of 800 billion. Okay, that was a bit of Okay, I think we're back. There was a bit of fluctuation there, so let's about 150 billion naira daily if the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, that's NUPENG, and Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers Senior Staff Association, Pengassan, should embark on a nationwide strike. Both Pengassan and NUPENG had recently vowed to go on a strike if the federal government delayed the payment of 800 billion naira subsidy arrears owed to oil workers, oil marketers. SCCI blamed the federal government for the threat by the unions, which according to it arises from its encouragement of fuel subsidy and control of the petroleum downstream sector. In a statement signed by the Director General LCCI, Muda Yusuf, the chamber notes that the fuel subsidy phenomenon has become a recurring distraction in Nigeria's economic management space. For an economy that is just emerging from recession, this is not a good scenario to contemplate, Yusuf said, adding that everything possible should be done to avert the planned strike. Chairman, Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream, Senator Tayo Alashuadura, has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to immediately suspend the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachiku, and the Group Managing Director, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), Dr. Maikanti Baru. Alashuadura, speaking on a TV program, specifically stated that Baru's continued presence at the NNPC will jeopardize the Senate's investigation into the allegations that he allegedly approved contracts to the tune of $25 billion without the approval of the corporation's board. Also, human rights lawyer Femi Falana on Sunday called on President Muhammadu Buhari to refer the $25 billion contract scam allegations leveled against the GMD of the NNPC, Maikanti Baru, to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for investigation. In a statement, the senior advocate of Nigeria advised the president to place Baru on an indefinite suspension. Falana also called on Buhari to relinquish the position of the substantive Minister of Petroleum Resources due to the president's busy schedule and appoint another Nigerian of proven integrity and competence to take up the position. He added that if his advice is heeded, relinquishing the said ministerial position will remove undue pressure on the health of the president and allow him to attend to urgent matters of the state. He said recent demand by the presidency for the minutes of the meetings of the NNPC board has confirmed that the meetings of the board, which are statutorily required to be chaired by the Minister of Petroleum Resources, have not been held as and when due. Meanwhile, NNPC will today respond to the allegations leveled against its GMD, Maikanti Baro, by the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachuku, in a letter to President Muhammadu Buhari. A senior NNPC source hints that the corporation now has a green light to go ahead and reply to the allegations made by the minister. Kachuku, in his letter to the president, accused the NNPC boss of insubordination and award of $25 billion contracts without due process, among others. But in disputing the claims of the minister against the GMD, the oil company is arguing that they relied on the NNPC Act and the Bureau of Public Procurement Act in the operations of the corporation. And lastly, many Nigerians leaders joined other compatriots in the United States for the Independence Day parade, which set the city of New York aglow on Saturday. Notable among them are Ibrahim Mago, the acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), and Governor Okezie Ikpeazu of Abia State. Mayor Bill de Blasio of New York and others also joined the revelers at the colorful parade. The parade began at 2nd Avenue on E54th Street and ended at E44th Street at Nigeria House. Thousands of Nigerian youths had the best of time as they sang and danced to Nigerian music. The event, which is Africa's largest parade in the US, also showcased Nigeria's unique culture and promoted the positive image of Nigeria to the rest of the world, as several other nationals joined in dancing to the Nigerian music. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day. Let's do this again tomorrow. My name is Oluwa Mayomikun. Thanks and stay busy. Today is Monday. Yes, stay busy and stay productive. Bye for now.